Recovery on Air, the official podcast of Crossroads Addiction Rehabilitation. Candid discussion about addiction and recovery with the people who have lived it, along with input from experts on the journey from struggle to triumph. Laugh, cry, and be inspired. And now, your host for Recovery on Air, Kristen Day.
Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Recovery on Air, where we talk about the good, the bad, the miracles. I am super excited for today's guest. We have Michael Bills. I'm so excited to have you on and just learn all about you because we did that event at Pure Heart, and so I just want to learn everything. What was childhood like? Like what?
So definitely had a crazy upbringing as a kid, traumatic, and my parents separated or divorced real early in my childhood, and my mom and dad both in addiction. So you know how that looks, but essentially I ended up living with my dad, and it was the 80s, so he was partying, cocaine, all that type of stuff, and I lived through that with him and his friends, and just kind of lived that lifestyle for my early childhood. So that's essentially what my childhood looked like, was drugs and women and that type of lifestyle. Absolutely. Back and forth from parents to...
You would go back and forth between the two?
Mostly with my dad.
Gotcha.
And then my dad was in and out of jail, so I would spend time at my grandma's or at my aunt's, basically whoever could take care of me at the time that he could.
No, I get that. For sure.
That's how my childhood was for a lot of years.
How was school, and were you getting in trouble? And
so I actually did really well in school up until maybe like 6th grade.
Okay.
And that's kind of when my life kind of changed on my own path, I should say, I guess.
Yeah. And what'd that look like?
So I moved out of the neighborhood that I lived in.
Did you grow up here in Arizona?
Yeah, I'm born and raised here in Phoenix.
Okay.
But yeah, so about 6th grade is when I moved out of the neighborhood that I lived in. So at the time, I really didn't have any friends, but I had younger siblings, and so I spent a lot of time at home with my siblings because, again, my parents, my dad and his wife, my stepmom was, they were alcoholics, and so I spent a lot of time at home with my brothers and sisters taking care of them. Yeah. My dad was always a functional alcoholic, though.
Gotcha.
Still is pretty much to this day.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, he wasn't home a lot, and so I was there at the house.
For sure.
And that's kind of when I started getting into trouble because I had a lot of freedom as a 6th, 7th grader. However old you are at that time, 12, 13 years old.
Yeah. No, I get it. That's when I started messing up too, and my goodness, by 14 I was pregnant, so...
Yeah.
What high school did you go to?
So my freshman year, I went to Goldwater for, not even a month,
that was
I think, maybe a couple months.
I went to Deer Valley.
I was already getting into trouble at that point, so
Gotcha.
I couldn't stay in school.
Yeah. And when did your drug addiction and everything start taking?
So I started early at like 12, 13.
Okay.
Really just drinking and smoking and stuff like that. But at an early age, my brother passed away. And that really was like a pivotal point in my life where I kind of took that on myself. And honestly, I lived with that for like 20 plus years, thinking that it was my fault. So I really got into heavy drugs at that age, 13. Gotcha. I was addicted to crack cocaine, running the streets already at sneaking out of the window and just being out till the morning. And because of where my dad was at and that lifestyle, like they really had no clue what I was doing, which is crazy if you think about it.
For sure. No, I get it. I would sneak out the bedroom windows, and I would sneak boys in too from the 2-story and put the garbage can by the thing and sneak them up. And
yeah, we definitely did all that.
Yeah, like
not boys, but
right. But I get it. Believe me. Back to your brother passing. How old were you?
So I was 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you mind me asking what he passed away from?
So he was a baby. He passed away from SIDS, they call it.
Man, that's really
But
hard.
because of all that time I spent with him,
Right.
I really got close to my siblings. I had another brother that was a little bit older than him at the time. But I spent a lot of time at home, and then I would have friends over, and we would party in the backyard. Because I had a lot of freedom at that age. So I'd party in the backyard, drink, smoke weed, and that's what I was doing at the time when he passed away. I actually, one of my friends, girlfriends back in, not a girlfriend, but anyways, she's the one that found him. And I was obviously supposed to be babysitting him. And I didn't really understand all that was going on at the time, but it was crazy. Like the helicopter came and
I can only imagine.
Took him to the hospital.
Yeah,
but,
I've been around. I went to a teen parenting school, so I dealt with women, that had a baby that passed away.
But my life just like in that moment spiraled. Like I can remember that day still to this day, like just how I felt and what.
Did you graduate high school and everything?
I did not.
You didn't?
No,
Okay.
I dropped out early, and eventually I wound up in prison. So
Okay. How old were you when you went to prison?
when I went to prison, I think I was about 23 maybe.
Okay. And what did you get caught for?
So I got a bunch of stuff, but
Okay.
but to sum it up, I mean, I basically had been up for some time, and I ended up trying to run over a cop that was trying to arrest me.
Hell yeah.
And honestly, like I didn't even believe that for the longest time, but once I got sober and really started thinking about what I was doing, I realized like, that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah. When you went to prison, were you using?
I did not use in prison.
Okay, that's good. Where did you go to prison at?
I was in Yuma.
Oh, okay.
I started in Dakota and then worked myself down.
Gotcha. I don't know what it was like back then in prison, but I know like now I go into the jails, into the prisons, and they have a lot more, classes that are available. Did you start addressing your addiction while you were in prison?
No, I didn't use, but prison was not good for me. I turned into somebody that I never thought I would be, honestly. It was just, I was super angry at that time in my life. I was resentful. I was all kinds of things, and that just made it almost like glorified it for me. And I ran with that. And
it's easy to go down that path too.
Absolutely,
I've had guys that have went down that path and killed people, like all kinds of things, you know what I mean? So like, especially being young and going in there and you're just kind of following what is being told of you. How long were you in prison?
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you get out and...
I get out and go right back at it. Like,
Yeah.
there was not even I think I was drinking the first day that I got out.
Gotcha.
And that was my...
That was your go-to.
But that was what I was going to do the whole time I was in there. I planned it.
For sure.
I was still young, so I wanted to go out, enjoy, and do all those
Absolutely.
things. But eventually that just led me back to the drugs. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went back to the drugs, and obviously you go back and do all those things. Did you get in trouble again?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because of prison and the people that I met in there, I started doing things outside. Once I got out and once I got back into my addiction, I just started doing things that honestly, even prior to going to prison, I thought I would never do.
Right.
One of those things was I was using drugs in shooting up meth, and that kind of destroyed
was a
me.
banger too.
Yeah, that messed my head up bad.
Absolutely. It's a whole other level when you stick
definitely.
a needle in your arm. Yeah. And I too had said, I swear I will never shoot up. I will never be like them. And I was a functioning tweaker for a while. Like I went to work, I cut hair, I worked at a salon. So it was, I could do it. Smoking a pipe, going back and doing my client's hair, and it was fine. The minute that I stuck that needle in my arm, 32 days it took. I lost the house, the car, the kid. Yeah, it's intense, and I always say, like, IV drug use is something else. Yeah. And then you become addicted to the needle as well. You know what I mean? Like inflicting that pain on yourself. Right. So What drugs were you doing?
So I just did meth. I wasn't really into anything. I mean, I've tried numerous things,
Right.
but nothing.
When did you get sober?
I got sober in 2009.
Okay.
And I've
Wow,
been
you've been sober
since.
a long time. And you've been sober since?
I've been sober since. So in 2009, after all that was going on, I got into this place where I literally called my dad a week or so, maybe even a few days before I got arrested. And I said, my dad lived in Prescott.
Gotcha.
And I called him and I said, I got to get out of here. I just got to get out of here. I don't know, something's going to happen to me. And it wasn't like I was, what do you call it?
Like a meth psychosis.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. I just knew because of all the stuff I was doing and all of the wrong I was doing that something was going to happen to me.
For sure.
And he goes, well, you can come up here, and I never did. And then I got arrested just a few days later. And when I got arrested, that's basically when I got sober.
Got you.
Yeah.
So you got arrested. Did you go to prison again?
No, I didn't.
Thankfully.
Thank God I did not.
Right.
But that's essentially what I think kind of brought me to saying, like, man, I just don't want to do that again. I'm done. You know, like I was done. I think I was done prior to that.
Right.
Feeling what I was feeling, even calling my dad that day, I felt like I was done. I just couldn't put it into action.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And sometimes we need those little, I call them little scares, you know, God moments, aha moments.
Yeah, definitely.
And getting that little scare probably scared the shit out of you that you're like, I don't want to go back to prison. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, thank God I got arrested for a very minimal thing. And I shouldn't have. It should have been a lot more, but you know, God was looking out for me.
Right.
That's when I believe I started noticing things like that.
Had you always been in tune with with God?
No, not at all. No.
So upbringing, you did not have, you know, like
I mean,
parents weren't religious.
I may have went to church on you know, Christmas or Easter on occasion.
Me too.
But nothing. No, I had no clue who God was or what church was or anything like that.
So did you go to treatment once you know, jail was done? And
So yes, I did. I actually got sober through Crossroads.
Okay. What facility did you go to?
I went to East.
Okay.
Back then it was, you know, just sober living.
Absolutely.
Or not sober living, but
Halfway house.
Halfway house.
Yeah.
It was nothing what it is now. But,
right.
Yeah, so I got out of jail and I fought my case from the street.
Okay.
And ended up, you know, going through Crossroads. And the funny story is I went through Crossroads, but my sponsor now then wasn't my sponsor, and he actually kicked me out of Crossroads because I just was being a knucklehead still, and I didn't want to take suggestions, and I didn't want to listen to anybody.
For sure.
So he ended up kicking me out, but he said I'm kicking you out, but if you show up here every day, I'll work the steps with you. Wow. And that's how he became my sponsor. So I did that. You know, I did that. And at some point, you know, in those few months, I was living in Sunny Slope at the time when I got kicked out of there.
Love the slopes. Shout
and
out.
I was sitting outside this little apartment that I was living in, sitting in a chair smoking a cigarette, and I just remember the words or just hearing this voice in my head, and now I know that it was God. Back then I had no clue what it was, but I heard the words, "If you stay here, you're gonna use again." So I went to my sponsor and some people that I knew at Crossroads and just kind of pleaded my case with them, and they allowed me to go into a sober living that they had at the time. Okay. And I spent almost 2 years there, honestly. Wow. I think a year and a half.
That's amazing.
So that's kind of where my recovery started.
Yeah, I heard some good stuff. Like East has been around. It's
forever,
you know, forever, and there's such a good juju there. Right. I feel, you know, like Jorge is absolutely amazing. Yeah. And just the love and the family that you feel there. It's a good property.
Yeah. I had been to all of them, but
okay.
But that time that one stuck.
Got you. I got you.
Kind of stuck. I got kicked out, but but nonetheless.
So you stayed in the sober living for 2 years, and you're working a program and doing your steps. And
I did my steps. I think I had my steps done. I did my steps pretty fast. It was something that my sponsor wanted me to do.
Right.
But he was, at that time in my life, I just didn't want to go back to who I was and what I was doing. And anything that he asked me, I was just willing to do it and willing to talk about it. And that's really where my freedom started coming into place.
Gotcha.
And eventually, they had me managing that house that I stayed in, and just working a program,
For sure.
doing the steps, going to meetings, helping other guys, sponsoring other guys, doing all those things. Honestly, doing all those things I still do to this day.
Yeah, you have to.
16 years later, so.
And that's the brass tacks of it, is that you're still doing the same things that helped you get sober in the beginning.
Absolutely.
I feel, I see it a lot too. I'm 8.5 years sober, and I see where, I got 10 years sober. I'm gonna just kick it over here. I don't need to go to that meeting. I don't need to, but that's the stuff that really helped you get sober. And I'm not here to judge. I know that everybody recovers different. What works for me may not work for you, vice versa. You know what I mean? So it isn't a one size fits all type thing. Right. So do you have kids?
I do.
You do? Yeah. How many kids you got?
I have 7 kids.
7? Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So when you're married, I'm married, your wife, and does she have kids?
So she had 2 kids, and I had 2 kids when we met.
Okay. And then you had
3 together.
Got you. Okay.
But yeah, I met her while I was in sober living.
Okay.
I was a year and a half, I think, sober. I met her at my brother's church, actually.
Wow.
And we just, since our first date, she's not in recovery, but she doesn't drink.
Gotcha.
And when she told me that, I was honestly instantly in love.
Yeah.
I actually, the first day I met her, I said, this is where I'm at. This is where I live. This is who I am.
Are you moving
I've
in?
Been to prison. I got all these things going on,
Yes.
bad things, issues,
Yeah.
and I was just up front where I said, and I did that because I didn't have time to
Play around.
Yeah. I was just like being up front. It's funny because she told herself, she's like, I'll never be with another man that's had addiction issues. And
and then here you are.
Yeah, 7 months later we were married.
Wow.
Maybe 6.
Wow. You guys move fast like I do.
Since 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like I did the same thing kind of with my husband. Like we met at the CA convention in 2019 in August. September we made it official. October we moved in together, Yeah. And then November the following year we got married. Like we move fast. We're still addicts. You know what I mean? But I knew the day that I met him, I had told my girlfriend in the hotel room, I was like, I'm going to marry that guy. Yeah. She's like, you're fucking crazy. I'm like, it's like when though,
I think so,
and that's awesome that she supports you and everything like that.
Yeah.
So can I ask you, where the hell did it come that Lee was your stepdad? And
so yeah, Lee Piaski, which most people know.
Shout out.
So it's
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's my stepdad. He's married to my mom.
Got you.
And my mom is in recovery as well.
Okay.
So I spoke about her earlier.
Yeah.
But she is actually, I think, 28 years sober.
That's crazy.
And Lee is 30-something
Yeah.
years. But that's how they met. Wow. And then that's obviously how I met Lee and stuff like that. But yeah, he's been a huge, both of them, but Lee's been a huge instrumental man in my life.
For sure.
Since I got.
He's such an amazing man.
Since I got sober.
He's so amazing. And we love him so much. Like everybody still talks about him, Are you close with your mom?
I am.
Yeah.
We had our
differences.
We had our differences, and that was a huge part of my my steps. And honestly, I was just actually thinking back on this and having a conversation with her the day after Mother's Day, just about all this, and just telling her how grateful I am for our relationship now. Because it wasn't, I had a lot of resentments as a kid, and then brought that into my adulthood. And even when I got sober, I made my amends, and I told myself, I forgave her, but it wasn't
It
like
wasn't.
100%, you know, like I wanted it, but I just didn't feel
God,
it.
I feel that in my heart
And
so much.
so now I feel that, you know, and that's what I was telling her yesterday. I'm like, I can't believe like we've come this far, you know,
Right.
like I feel, my heart feels for you. And I remember when it didn't.
Right.
And, but the reality is I would have never got there without God. I don't think, the steps are great. And I'm 100% with the steps.
I agree.
But when God brought himself into my heart and into my life, man, my life has changed
Tremendously.
dramatically.
Yeah.
But me being able to work with God and men in my life to find real forgiveness for certain people, like my mom,
Right.
I was able to really understand my mom and why she did the things she did.
Right.
And with that, I was able to find true forgiveness for my mom.
I feel that so much because I've been going through a lot lately with my mom and even my stepdad. Like, I did not have a relationship with my stepdad. I hated him. I literally just started calling him dad when I got sober this time. But I called him the other day, like, crying. And I feel that when you say, like, you know, you make those amends. I've made those amends. But now I feel so much more. I'm dealing with my mom and Alzheimer's and stage 4 cirrhosis of the liver. So it's like now these times are so much more important.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going through stuff right now with my 12-year-old bonus daughter. And I called my stepdad the other day. I'm like, fuck, dude, I am so sorry for the shit that I put you through.
Yeah.
And then the sermon on Sunday,
Yeah.
because you go to Pure Heart as well.
Yeah.
I was just like, I was a blubbering mess.
Yeah, me too.
All Sunday.
Yeah.
Crying, eyelashes fell off. I was like, holy fuck. And then, you know, it's one thing after another. I go to the jails. I wasn't able to go to the jail. I was upset. And then God intervened and I got to go to the prison that day. You know, like all these things. And I'm just like, holy shit. Like it was a real big moment.
Right.
So God comes into your life and now you just bang God like you bang go. That's what that's what I say too.
Yeah.
Like for real.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
me and God are.
Yeah. So my mom is the one that got me into church at Pure Heart.
Okay.
Years ago, you know, thank God I found God early on in my recovery. I think I was, you know, less than a year sober when I started my walk with God.
Yeah.
Again, I don't believe that I would be where I'm at today if that didn't happen. That's my story. You know?
Absolutely.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
What was your question?
Just talking about just your relationship with God and how that, you know, whole thing transpired.
Yeah. So when I started that process with God and going to Pure Heart and all these things I remember like so clearly, you know, I remember going into Pure Heart and Pastor Dan had a sermon obviously, but I just felt like I was the only one in there and he was talking directly at me.
Looking straight at you, right?
Yeah.
Dude.
And
All the time.
and that was honestly like where I felt forgiven. Like I really felt forgiven and like I could move forward. Like I just had this weight lifted off of me. I was forgiven for all the wreckage and all the stuff that I had done in the past, you know, to my kids and to people in my life, my family, my mom, my dad, and all the people that don't even know me that I was out there stealing and robbing and just making a mess of myself. And I really, truly in that moment felt forgiven for all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy too? Like, I mean, it's all about us, you know, but I swear I sit on one side. You sit in the same place every single Sunday. I sit in that same place over there. 2 weeks ago, we sat on the other side because there was a whole bunch of us girls that got together. It was my friend's son's 3-year anniversary of passing from a fentanyl overdose. So we went. And I'm sitting on this side of where the sermon is. I swear on everything. Pastor Dan's looking right at me, talking to me, and I'm like, I feel personally attacked right now. Like, what? Why is it every single time I go to church, that is what's happening? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh. But those are the things that we need to hear. Yeah. And
I think it's because we're in tune.
Absolutely.
We're in tune with God and with the Holy Spirit, and we're allowing that stuff to work inside of us. And
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I love, I get to work with Crossroads all the time, but us having our outpatient clinic there and our outpatient facility there on property, I think it's great.
Yeah.
And I wish that more people knew about it and we could push it more, because I just don't think a lot of people are aware of what is available over there, So you do a Monday night. Are you the one that started that?
So Lee actually started it, and
Okay.
I think we started back in 2010 or 11.
Okay.
And it started out like a handful of guys, and eventually, I think after a year or so, he's like, "Hey, you want to take over the meeting?" And I did. I think I started that group on my own in 2012, somewhere like that, and I've been going ever since. It's changed a little bit, but it's a whole night there. That it's not just men's chemical. There's a women's group. There's a group kind of like Al-Anon, but it's called PAL.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of stuff going on there.
Can we talk about all that? Because like I said, I want people to know about that. And personally, I've been to one of the women's ones one time, but I would love to be more involved in that, because it's not just about recovery. I don't think that you guys focus just on recovery. You're focusing on God and your relationship and getting better as a human.
Within our group, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's definitely a recovery group, yes. Right. But we basically read the big book and we read the Bible.
I love that. So you mix it together.
Yeah, we mix it together.
Have you ever heard of the Fat Book, where I'll have to send it to you if you haven't.
I have
So
not.
It is the big book, and it has the Bible mixed together, and it's called the Fat Book, and you can buy it on Amazon. I just got it, and it has scriptures, and it breaks it down
into steps. So I have a Bible like that, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have
the recovery Bible?
Yeah, recovery
Okay.
Bible. And I've always read that Bible. I
Gotcha.
still to this day read that Bible.
Do you take people through the steps through that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
I love that.
It's the same thing,
Yeah.
It's the same exact thing. We run the meeting like a regular AA meeting.
Okay.
We give out chips, we do that. I mean, we pray a lot.
Yeah.
We pray over people a lot, like if they're struggling, or we play worship music sometimes. It's just a mixture of everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Have you ever done Celebrate Recovery?
I've been to a few meetings.
Yeah.
I think back actually when I stayed at Crossroads, like that was mandatory. Like they took you to a Celebrate Recovery meeting. I never really got into it, but it's similar to that.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it similar to that?
Because they do have, other groups, and actually even last night they had a live worship for all the groups to come, and then after the worship you can go into your groups.
So Monday nights, Pure Heart, 6:30.
6:30. Yeah, 6:30.
6:30. So the 43rd and Thunderbird location.
Yep. And it's basically, they call it Monday Healing Night.
Yeah.
So it's for all types of things. I
Absolutely.
mean, there's a lot of mental health issues out there, and
Did you ever suffer with mental health issues? I have.
I don't. Maybe I don't know. I've never been diagnosed or anything, but I mean, I do have OCD.
Yeah. You're like, it
drives my wife crazy.
That might be a prison thing too,
Yeah,
where
it
it's
probably is.
very, very structured,
Yeah.
needing all that. So your relationship with you and your wife is absolutely amazing. You guys she started a nonprofit. I want to talk about that too.
Okay, so this is a funny but great story.
Yeah.
We were building a house, just like, I don't know, less than 4 years ago. We're building a house, and it's on horse property. And as we're building the house across the street from us, straight tweakers. And it's like, if you pull onto our street, automatically that's the house, right? And anyway, so I, myself, and my wife were like, man, I just wish they didn't live across there.
Right.
And it was so
Cramping
funny.
our style.
Yeah, it was so funny because one day I pull up and they're like ripping stuff off the house. They're pulling trees out of the yard.
Oh yeah.
So I go,
Tweaking.
yeah. So I go over there and I go, "What's going on?" He goes, "Oh, well, I have to move out."
You're taking the trees and everything?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Hell yeah. I would take
Literally, I'm not
AC
even kidding.
unit.
They were taking palm trees out
Hell
of the front
yeah.
yard.
I'm taking that one.
And I'm like, "Oh, dang, really?" I'm like, who's the owner? You
Yeah.
know, like, because the house was a mess, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it was just
Well, now it's missing parts too. So.
yeah, it was missing all kinds of stuff. But nonetheless, long story short, like I ended up buying the house, right? I wanted to buy it to rent it out.
Yeah.
So we fixed it up and got it all ready to rent out. And my wife comes to me one day and she goes, I don't think we're supposed to rent it out. She's like, I think we're supposed to give back somehow. And so our daughter has been through, one of our older daughters has been through, gosh, I'm losing my train of thought right
You're
now.
good. Domestic violence.
Domestic
all that.
violence.
Yep.
She went through that for a few years, and it's really close to my wife's heart. Obviously, both of ours, but she, it hits her differently than it does
For
me.
sure. A lot of mine, this story is domestic violence as well.
Yeah. So I shouldn't say she. God decided that we were to do something different, not rent this house out to make a profit, but to give back. And so she started a nonprofit called Her Hope, and what she does there is she brings women and children only. And there's a lot of things that have to be done prior
There's a
to
lot
them
of
moving
moving
in.
parts to it.
But she's just learning as she goes. That she's been doing it for a couple of years now.
Wow.
But she houses them. There's animals on property that they get to experience therapy with them. She has them go through counseling through Pure Heart. Some of them come to the Monday night for different reasons.
So amazing.
And she just walks with them. She walks with them. She helps them budget. She helps them.
teaches them.
She really teaches them all kinds of things.
Right.
And
Are you involved, or you're more behind the scenes?
yeah, I'm not super involved. I
get it.
I rake the yard and stuff like that, but
You're like, hey.
we fix things if things need to be fixed.
For sure.
But yeah, it's
How long can they be housed there?
so typically it's up to a year.
Wow.
But she changes things as she goes. If she feels
does.
like God wants her to do something different, she's definitely Holy Spirit driven when it comes to that.
I love that.
So it's been honestly it's been up and down. We've had a few crazy stories in
Yeah.
the beginning. You can only imagine.
Listen, I get it. Domestic violence, you
Yeah.
know.
So we've had some interesting
Yeah.
stories, but nonetheless, we've had some amazing stories. We've had a few women that end up going to Pure Heart and get baptized. Right now, we have she's an adult now. She just turned 18, and my wife has really been like walking with her. She moved in with one of the moms, and the mom wasn't her real mom.
Gotcha.
But just from her
showed
story,
her,
yeah. And my wife has really like walked with her, and she went to her graduation, and she helped her get a
She's been a
prom
mom
dress.
to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Been a mom to her.
So
That is,
yeah,
oh,
but just to see these women, like
for sure.
from where they were at, and then just after even a few months, sometimes like just the changes you could see in theirs, and then in the kids, like they're just running outside in the yard playing, and I remember this one family. I think it was one of the first families we had move in. Because she shows them the house and stuff before they move in. And I remember the kids running around the house, and I remember them saying, "Mom, we get to stay here? Like we don't have to leave?"
Right.
And I just
And
like
it's like
that for
something
me,
they
like
never
was like,
had.
man, this is why God wanted this,
For sure.
So it's been fun. It's been amazing to see what God can do.
Does she work with like Chrysalis, and it's a domestic violence shelter? After the show, I would love to get you in contact. Like, I didn't know it was like that. I didn't know that you had a house and all of that for girls. Like, that is a whole other level.
Yeah, I mean, it houses up to 3 families.
Right.
So it's not a huge
still,
thing.
that
But yeah, but she
families.
definitely works with other shelters and stuff like
Okay.
that. But it's definitely not a shelter. It's kind of like a step up from that.
Yeah, it's like a
So
transitional
A lot of
living
women
type.
that are coming from shelters come there.
Yeah.
But there's all different stories.
For sure.
But yeah.
For sure. And then back to the Pure Heart thing, like, you know, I'm in total awe that you started that whole, you know, thing, or helping Lee get that thing up and running, and it's just blown up. I know a lot of guys that go there, and women too, and I like the fact of, like, I think it's more like a accountability group,
Right.
kind
Yeah,
of, you know what I
definitely.
mean? Like, yes, you do the steps and everything like that, but there's so much more into all of that. And I always say, like, if you don't heal from your past trauma, you're going to bleed.
Right.
You're going to bleed onto others that
Yeah.
have never hurt you. Going through it right now, you know, so much past trauma that is coming up, and now I get to heal through it, you know, with God.
Right.
Think,
Yeah, and no, you're exactly right. That's what it is. I mean, our group itself is the largest group there that night, and I think regularly we have about 50 guys there.
wow.
But it's not just recovery, you know. It's dealing
Everything.
with life. It's trying to figure out how to get through things in life that we still come
Right.
into, even being sober, and not having to go back to using to
Right.
get through it. You know, I have to do that daily. You know, I have to
Yeah.
renew my mind daily to stay on the right path. You know, drugs and alcohol aren't an issue for me anymore.
Right.
Life is.
God has removed
Yeah,
that obsession.
yeah,
Now it's
Yeah,
Life
is
gets lifey.
yeah, especially with kids and teenagers.
Oh,
and,
my
and you know,
God.
we've had, you know, one of our older girls it always, not always, and she always, but just goes through some drinking stuff and choosing the wrong guys
Yeah.
and all that stuff, you know. But man, I have a wife and I have God, and we're able to walk through that stuff and not let it take us down.
Amen.
And that's essentially, I think, Monday night. You know, we get to walk with guys as they go through things.
Does your wife do Monday night too with the women?
No,
No.
she doesn't. My wife isn't in recovery,
Right.
but no, I mean, some of the women go to the different.
Because I
groups
heard
there.
there's like a trauma group and everything.
Yeah,
on
there's a
Monday
trauma
nights.
group. There's a group for like people from loss of
Yes. Grief.
grief share.
Yes.
Grief share.
The
They call it
grief
grief
share.
share.
Yep. I just heard about that because I was talking to Pastor Bob.
Yeah.
Love Pastor Bob.
Yeah.
You know, I'm actually going to meet with him next week because I'm going to get more involved with Safe Lots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some stuff with
Yeah,
Safe
that's
Lots
cool.
and get involved there because Pure Heart's my home. I was never really into the religious thing,
Right.
you know, like 13 out running amok and then 14 pregnant. It was like people look at me. And then when I started going to Pure Heart, it was like, again, not just Pastor Bob or Pastor Dan like looking at me and talking straight to me, but like I got baptized. And that was like a huge pivotal moment in my recovery as well, in my sobriety journey, because I had been packing all this stuff and shoving it down so long. I chose men and drugs over my kids, like, you know, domestic violence, all these things. And it was just like my rights were severed. My daughter was adopted. I didn't, you know, I wasn't a mom to my 3 children, but now I have an opportunity to be a mom to my husband's 2 children. And I'm just like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is big.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember Pastor Dan ended up baptizing me and my bonus daughter. And I went in there and it was just like, when I went under that water and I came back up, it was like I could finally fucking breathe, dude. And like you said, like just, I could finally breathe, and it was like the weight had been lifted off my chest, and I was forgiven.
Yeah.
You know, I was forgiven for everything that was holding me down those last 5.5 years of me being sober. And now I'll be 9 in November, God willing, and it just, I push it too. Like, I'm not here to push religion on anybody, but know that there is something greater than yourself,
Right.
And this program, teaches us that. Yeah. So
I just always, I always think back to where I was at, and to where God has brought me today, and I was literally in hell, and then He pulled me out of there and changed my life dramatically. I think now I think about what I'm doing for my wife and my kids and the men that I'm involved with. Like, I'm creating this legacy for myself and for those people, to be so much different, and it starts with me. Essentially, I have to like I was saying before, I have to renew myself every day. because the truth is, my mind's still a mess.
Yeah.
Right? I wake up and I think the strangest things.
We're still
I'm
fucking
still sick
dirtbags sometimes. Listen, like, we're still sick.
But I got to
there.
go to God, and I got to renew that daily. We were just talking about this in group last night, but it's just something that I have to continuously work on, continuously get up in the morning and thank God and just rely on Him for everything.
Absolutely.
I just want to share this real quick. So my
share.
shirt, New Creation, that's actually my business.
Okay.
It's called NC Construction, and it's a huge part of my story. I randomly started this company with a mentor of mine.
Okay.
14 years ago or so, and it just started out as I was just helping him out. I at the time I was working from home, and he asked me for some help, and I was like, yeah, sure, I can help you out. And anyways, it kind of turned into a business from there. But I felt God pushing me to do it for multiple reasons. But because what I was doing prior to that was fine. It was providing for my family.
For sure.
But I just felt the nudge, and I felt Him like, I want you to help guys. I want you to help guys in recovery. I want you to help guys that are getting out of prison. Give them a job, because I went through that when I got out of prison.
It's a big barrier.
Yeah, I struggled. And if I found a job, they would tell me one thing and they would give me the other. And I just always felt like people were trying to take advantage of me and not really like give me an opportunity.
Absolutely.
So that's how I started my business. I started hiring guys from Crossroads, actually. And then just from there, if guys got out of prison, or if I met them on Monday nights, if I had an opening, I would definitely provide that.
So what do you do?
So we're mainly, what we do is remodel homes, but we do new builds. We do, a little bit of a commercial, but mostly high-end residential remodel.
Good to know.
So I'm a new creation, and we build new creations.
Oh my God, I love that. Again, that's all God right there, because
Absolutely.
I got some stuff that I need to maybe have you come in.
But yeah, it's definitely God's business. It's not even mine.
For sure.
Like I said, I never imagined being a contractor. It wasn't something I ever had on my radar. It was just God's
license and bonded and
everything. Yeah, I started from the bottom, and
now
it's
you're
been
here.
14 years. And
wow.
I mean, I think again, anything that I share today, good or bad, it's not out of pride. It's out of God's love, God's grace,
For sure.
God's forgiveness in my life. That's why I'm sharing it, because He's, like I said, man, I was in hell. And He's brought me to a place that I could never imagine I would be at. And from a guy that got a GED in prison to a guy that runs a multi-million-dollar company remodeling homes, it's unexplainable. It's not me. Right. It's God. And
I feel that.
I'm really big on giving back and tithing and doing all those things that I know God is calling me to do. Help men, help them get jobs, help them in recovery, meet with them before the meeting on Monday nights, walk them through the steps. it's just what I live, you know, and I don't see it ever changing for me. Yeah, I go through times where I feel overwhelmed and cut back a little bit, but that's my life. That's just what it is now, you know, and it's much better on this side
than it is on that side.
Yeah.
No, and I totally agree. And that's like what I was saying earlier is like, keep doing these things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keep doing these things because you're helping so many people.
Yeah.
And, you know, I do social media and I recover out loud because there's people that don't know. Like, and if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
But at least if they can see it, then maybe they will want to do it too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like what we do in our life, anybody can do this, but it just takes work, you know? And that's the hardest part, I think, is, you know, taking that first step.
Yeah.
Taking that first step and all that guilt and all that shame. Like I tell my girls all the time, I fucking got like 13 sponsees. I do a lot. And I overwhelm myself too. And now dealing with my mom and my 12-year-old daughter and trying to maintain the relationship with my 3 kids. But everything I do for Crossroads, I'm just like, but dude. But God will get me through this, you know? Yeah. And man, that's just absolutely amazing. So, I had no idea it was like all that. Yeah. That's fucking crazy, dude. And again, you know, I'm in that boat where we have a amazing company, our tattoo shop, and, you know, we're successful and we're only getting bigger and better as we go. And my husband has excelled so much, like in the 7 years that we've been together, like, I'm like, holy shit, dude. Yeah. Like the sky is the limit. Yeah. Shot out junkies to fucking shooting up toilet water to, you know, doing all this shit now. Yeah. So, relationship with all your kids.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm in contact with all my kids.
I got you.
I have, you know, gone through it up and down with some of my older ones that went through the wreckage with me.
Me too.
I have a well, like I said, I have 7 kids.
Yeah.
5 girls and 2 boys.
Woo. Woo-wee.
But my youngest, you know, I got 4 younger ones that haven't even, you know, my son a little bit. I got sober right around the time he was born.
Okay.
But my younger kids, and they're not even, you know, my younger is, you know, my youngest is 12, and then I got a 14, and then
12 is a girl?
Boy. Oof. Yeah, and then I got a 17-year-old son, and then an 18-year-old daughter that's graduating this week. But those kids, they never seen me like that. They never witnessed any of that. They don't. I mean, they never seen alcohol or drugs or cigarettes or any of that stuff in the house. You know, they have no clue what my life looked like besides some of the stories that I share with them.
Heard. Yeah.
But sharing in a good way, you know, not, you know, and they didn't have to be a part of that, you know, like it's a whole different. But I'm in contact even with my older kids. You know, I have a couple older daughters, and I got grandkids, and
you got your grandpa?
Yeah, I got 4 grandkids.
Yeah.
4 grandkids, and
listen, I tell my older ones, I'm like, maybe you're grandma already. Like, I'm ready. Yeah. I love the babies, so I steal babies all the time.
It's fun.
I can't wait to be a grandma, like for real, because I don't have, you know, I can't have no more babies. So I'm gonna be 44. I'm like, let's get this show on the road. I need a grandbaby. Yeah. My son's like, okay, mom, and then my other one's like, I ain't having no fucking kids. Screw that. Absolutely not. I'm like, okay, you know, but I appreciate you. Yeah. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you.
You know. Absolutely. I'm so grateful that you know, could step away from your business for a little bit and make some time. I know you're a busy, busy man. So if anybody is wanting to find you, how do they find, whether it's the business and your guys' nonprofit, how do they reach out?
We have obviously websites and Instagram for not for the nonprofit, but yeah, I can leave you all of our info for different
And
different
I'll
stuff that we have going
put
on.
it into I'll put it in here and
Yeah.
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 So new creation though.
Yeah. New
Construction.
creation,
Listen, I'm like, oh my God, this is all God for real because I'm like, I need a walk-in closet built, and it's been a whole thing.
Yeah.
So
We do it all.
I love it. I love
We
it.
tear
Well,
houses down and rebuild them. So
that's fucking
yeah,
dope, dude.
it's fun. It's fun. It's been a journey for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, again, I appreciate you coming on and just sharing your story and getting to know you better in this last hour. And
Yeah, grateful to be here.
yeah, thank you so much.
This is cool what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
this place is so nice and
Thank
yeah,
you.
I'm
trying. I'm trying to just, and we have an amazing studio producer and all that here.
Yeah.
So
I just think about people in recovery and not just me and you, but people trying to make an impact. That I'm reading a book right now and it talks about the ripple effect of the things that we're doing.
Right.
And when we're working with men or women, whatever it is.
Right.
And they get it, and then they go on to work
To
with
help
other women
get
or
with
men.
another
It's just
person.
a ripple effect, and it just God's glory continues to shine, through us, and I'm so grateful to be a part of something like that,
Right.
and it's so huge. It's huge, like it's
It
crazy
is.
how big it really is.
it is.
But yeah, days are hard and life brings you things and
For sure.
but man, it's just worth it. It's all worth it.
Like you said, it's so much better over here than it is over on that side.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, like one bad decision
Yeah.
could put us right back over
Oh,
there.
yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like one bad decision and boom, it's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for God because like you said, that obsession for drugs and alcohol have been removed.
Right.
Today. I mean, maybe tomorrow I'll have a shitty day. Who knows? But if I stay connected, keep doing what I'm doing, 9 times out of 10,
Yeah.
God's got me.
Yeah.
And sometimes I even say, like in my story, like I had to go through my relapse. I would have had 10 years sober. 2015, I got sober. I was like, oh, I can drink like a lady. I'm just going to have one shot. And then one shot leads to a gallon of Fireball. 28 days later, I'm shooting dope. And I was 3 weeks away from my reunification date, and I lost my daughter. But I needed to go through that.
Yeah.
I had to, and unfortunately, my child is the one that, suffered the most. But I am just now starting to build a relationship with her. It's taken 8 years.
Yeah. Amen.
8 years.
Sometimes it takes.
It does.
Yeah, it takes.
And that's what I tell these women, like, fucking have patience. You got to. Take it one day at a time. We got to think back on, like, the shit that we've put our families through, our kids. You're not going to get all that shit right away.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the job, the wife, the kids, all that in one day.
Yeah.
It takes time. But you got to do the work too.
Yeah, you got to work at it.
Absolutely.
Nothing good comes easy. Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah,
So
my daughter, my daughter, she's
How old is she?
She's 26.
Okay.
And she was one of my toughest as far as gaining that trust back in that relationship. It took forever. I mean, literally like just a couple years ago, I think.
that's how it is with my 21-year-old.
And it's just a process, like just obviously I get frustrated and why can't we just figure it out?
Right.
And but again, it goes back to the thing that I shared about my mom. Like I have to get into a place where I understand them and why they're either treating me or the things that they've gone through. I have to understand them and their reasons so I can forgive them. Because if I don't, I can't truly forgive, I should say.
Right.
So
no, and again, like it's perfect. That aligns right with my daughter too.
you just don't learn that stuff though.
Right.
Like that's
Well, and the forgiveness that she has to have on her side as well.
Yeah.
Like my daughter has kept me at arm's distance because she's like, is she gonna fuck up again?
Yeah.
If I let my wall down, is she gonna, get fucked up and then we're back to square one again. And, like I told her, my actions will speak louder than my words. I'm not going to promise you the world anymore. I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
So,
Consistency.
Yep.
Yeah.
Consistency is key.
Yeah.
Well, again, I appreciate you coming on and just sharing your story, and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
Because it's making a difference. And if you are struggling and you need help, you can always reach out to thecrossroadsinc.org. You can also come into our corporate office, 2002 East Osborne Road, and we are open Monday through Saturday. We take all commercial insurance, all Medicaid, and no insurance. So we're breaking all those barriers. Again, if you need help, reach out. And with that, I'll pass. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Recovery on Air, the official podcast of Crossroads Addiction Rehabilitation, with your host, Kristen Day. Join us next time as we continue our candid discussions about addiction and recovery. Listen 24/7 anytime to this or any of our shows online at starworldwidenetworks.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.